Well, hello there. Thank you for joining me today. I'm going to just do a reminder because I've said these things in multiple places. I have covered Israel quite a great deal. So, just in case some of these things were not heard by you, I will just give you a quick reminder. Remember, this is all in their symbolism, right? And what do all these symbols mean? Well, first of all, after all of these years, I have in fact concluded these people are Roman, okay? They're Roman pretending to be Jews. As a matter of fact, during World War II, there was a lot of confusion because the Romans have a very similar nose to Jews. And also, let's not forget, the Roman Catholic Church. How's all this happened? Saturn is the ancient Roman god of harvest and agriculture. He carried a sickle as his symbol, and you'll recognize that sickle in all this fake communism stuff. Saturn was also the major Roman deity of time. Saturn was worshipped in a winter festival called Saturnalia around the time of the winter solstice, which was marked by carnival and gift exchange, and it is said to have merged into Christmas. The symbolism is the Israeli flag has that six-pointed stars, which essentially is two pyramids side to side. That star on the Israeli flag also is the symbol for the hexagram for the Satanic world. Okay, so you see that symbol in both places. Isn't that funny, huh? So let me go through this list here and I will tell you why I'm thinking about this and why I think it's a good reminder, because I think something in the pit of hell, meaning Israel, is about to blow. I think that is where they're going to be staging this final deal. So let me go through this list here, okay? So King David had nothing to do with the symbol, okay? It is a symbol that was created. The Star of David. Nowhere in the Bible or the Talmud is this referenced as the Star of David. However, the Bible does reference this to be the Star of Rumphan, Rumphan, which belonging to Moloch, which is Satan. We have the symbolism. If you look on the Pope's hat, they wear a star, which looks very much like the Star of David, but it is not the Star of David. It is the same star of the person. Excuse me, let me get this spelling straight here. It's kind of small and tight for me to read. Let me see if I can blow this up. Okay, sorry. It's a star of Rephan, Remphan, but it's often been mistaken as the Star of David. So if you look on the Pope, from the Roman Catholic Church, they have the same star as they do on the Israeli flag. Okay, next we have symbolism. The Tabernacle of Moloch, Moloch, and the star of your god Remphan, Remphan. You will find that symbol, the star of the god Remphan, also with Moloch, Moloch. So this is what it says is, yeah, ye took up the tabernacle of Moloch, and the star of your god Remphan, figures which ye made to worship them, and I will carry you away beyond Babylon. Acts 7:43. Okay. The hectagon was also used to represent Saturn, which has been identified as the esoteric name for Satan. This indicates that anyone killed in the name of Israel is actually a sacrifice to Satan. Did you hear me? The hexagram was also used to represent Saturn, which has been identified as the esoteric name for Satan, Satan. This indicates that anyone killed in the name of Israel is actually a sacrifice to Satan. So this is what's going on now? Seems like it to me. Certainly seems like it to me. Let me see if I have any more here. This has all been predicted, even our time here. We all knew what we were getting in for. This should not be we forget once we're born, but we all agree to what is going on. So let's not try to play end-game victimhood here at the end, like, oh my God, they're so powerful, look, they're Satan. No, we need to understand who they are, and hopefully that might just mobilize you to understand this is the final chapter. This other quote I have, what if I told you December 25th has been someone's birthday for over 4,000 years? The birthday of Nimrod was the first birthday celebration, and Nimrod became all the sun deities everywhere in Babel names, including Santa Claus and Krampus. And you might look, I did a show, and in the title it says, why does the Pope wear the same hat as Santa Claus? Everything is symbolized. And then, of course, they throw these symbols out all over. If you ask most people on social media, they wouldn't really know what they were talking about. That's the problem with blindly believing things. Okay, we have Nimrod was this ancient artifact. Nimrod's birthday, December 25th. Nimrod is carrying, looks like a tree and carrying like a little deer. What does Santa do? Santa is all about trees, right? Santa also wears a long beard just like Nimrod. Santa is seen holding a reindeer. Santa is seen holding a Christmas tree. See how these symbolisms exactly match up? It's only taken me 20 years to get here, but hey, I'm here, right? So this is where the deception lies. You know, that black box they show us, the black cube that they have the Muslims worshiping? Well, that is actually the black cube of Saturn. They essentially have everyone worshiping the same person. Jesus, all of them go back to Saturn. So, let me see here. I'm going to put this on hold for a second. If you haven't noticed, or maybe you didn't hear a show where I talked about this, I have to kind of like click in and out of the shows, but because it doesn't leave any kind of a noise, you might think, well, gee, her voice sounds kind of different here in a second. So, and to recap, and Saturn is also the reason we have the color red in all these flags. Saturn is the ancient Roman god of harvest and agriculture. He carried a sickle as his symbol. Saturn was also the major Roman deity of time. Saturn was worshipped in a winter festival called Saturnalia around the time of the winter solstice, which was marked by carnival and gifts exchange and is said to have merged into Christmas. Saturday is Saturn's Day, the sixth day of the week, and the sixth planet from the sun, and its symbol is a six-pointed star. 3 times 6 equals 666. So Saturday is Saturn's Day, the sixth day of the week, and the sixth planet from the sun, and its symbol is a six-pointed star. Satan, Satan, is simply another name for the planet Saturn. Satan, okay? This is all written in the symbols. So this is why I was looking at the symbolism earlier today and taking another look at it. Always good to keep looking, right? Why something big is going to explode in Israel. These people are freaks for all their numbers and all the things. This was all planned before we came here. We all agreed to participate in the game board. And most of us have forgotten what our plans were. We don't remember why we came or why we're doing things here. So what they did to help us along the way was they put money in our path, money and all kinds of lewd details, porn and all those kinds of things. Those come out of Saturn, Saturnalia, the wild drunken dancing and all that. That's how they want us to be, like that, because that is who they are. These people who want to transgender our children and are transgender themselves, taking deadly drugs. Yes, that is exactly who these people are. They are, in fact, from Saturn. And something is going to be going on here with Israel. Why exactly, with this star, the Saturn thing, the Satan thing, why is this war taking place in Israel? Israel. Israel. Ra is his son. What does this all mean? What exactly does it mean? What it means to me is this is where the trick is, okay? This is why they were so obsessed to grab on to Israel and kick out the Palestinians, because this is kind of the end, right? This is according to their script. After World War II, the script was quite simple. Convince people that they were Jews and they were victims, go and kick the people out of Palestine. But why? Why this particular piece of earth, right? And they claim that one of their famous people is buried there around Jerusalem. Well, gee, you would think they would unbury that person to claim who it was, right? Because this is all a huge trick, but it's based on numbers, it's based on their logos, it's based on all these symbolisms. So, what exactly does it all mean? I believe it's going to be the final battleground. And it's interesting that these, well, let's call a spade a spade. These white transgender Zionists who come from a base group of 350 people, also known in the genealogy world as a bottleneck. So the base people who start Israel all came from the same group of 350 people. So when you read those words, bottleneck and stuff, you'll realize, like I did, that that is code for incest. And that is also the reason why the Ashkenazi Jews are screaming the alarm about all of the diseases they're getting, because this group is, my opinion, likely all transgendered, right? They got there by incest. So they built their numbers up from 350 to where they are today. But there's not millions of them. They just have co-opted a lot of us with their money tricks and getting everybody to fight amongst all of these religions, the Muslims, the Shia, the Sunnis, you know the drill. You got the Al Qaeda, you got you got the Hezbollah, you got Iran. This is all a script. And this is, in fact, going to be going out to their script. Now, I've said for years, they're also making up parts of the script as they go along. Because, for example, did they really predict that people would finally get out in the streets to stand up for Palestine? Maybe not. I think they thought they had us lulled into the corner. So, this is what it is. It truly, truly is going to be the battle between good and evil taking place right there in Palestine. And what is our role in all of this? Well, I think we have been very complicit. I feel a tremendous burden myself that this even got to this point. How in the fuck did we get here? How have those people been left for the last 75 years to suffer this way? Well, because everybody thought, well, they kind of deserve it. It's all those Muslims. Americans don't know about this stuff, so let's just keep buying stuff, okay? The U.S. economy, our gross product right now, is because we spend money in this country. Our spending money and all of this stuff takes away from people in other countries who are now being repressed. So money weaves through this entire pattern here. I hate to tell you. And the lust for money is what it took to get everybody into this rush to make more of it and look the other way while genocide was taking place. Maybe no more looky away right now, okay? This is the final chapter. Maybe you think differently. I've been looking into this for the past over 20 years. I am 100% convinced this is the final chapter. I'm 100% convinced we all came down here with a plan. Nobody is a victim in this picture unless we've allowed ourselves to be in that position, okay? So if you have been trotted on and all of that, welcome to this chapter of the game board, right? This is a matter of the final beat up to see how many of us will stand tall in the end. How many of us are going to stand tall? Are people going to take the beating when their car gets repossessed and the bank comes after their home? Or are we going to all rise at once and say, hey, enough? Why are we working to put money into banks to have them tell us we can't even get it back? The control from psychopaths is what it is. Why do you think they hid that term psychopaths? Why do you think I'm getting electrified in my own house for exposing that term? Because that is who they are. They're transgendered psychopaths. They've created their energy into a lot of other psychopathic people who picked up on that because they wanted that money and that fame. Why do kids these days want to become a social media star? They don't say things like, well, I want to become a social media star so I can help the world. No, they want to become a social media star simply for fame and money. That is how we got here. But we don't have to stay stuck here now, do we? We absolutely do not. We have a lot of choices, a lot of choices. We simply forgot who we are. We're not the people that go around robbing people and murdering and raping people and stealing people's children. A lot of people have gotten into that game that have helped this whole effort of evil, but that is not deep down who we are. At least that is my view on this. You can have your own view because we are right now surrounded by so much evil at the top. The question is, how much evil is surrounding the rest of us in our own circle? I offered my book for free a few years ago because I was so concerned that we are going to be going into lockdown soon. I'm sure of that. I was so concerned that people would not recognize if they have a psychopath in their inner circle when they go into lockdown. I strongly suggest the same message to you right now. Be very careful of who your inner circle is, and not as a matter of fear, as a matter of logic, okay? When this ship is going down, you need people on the deck who are going to share your ability to keep moving, right? Not somebody who's going to become a claw on your back. So figure out a way to mobilize and get any questionable people out of your inner circle. We all know them. We all just have not taken the time to deal with them. Doesn't have to be anything abrupt. Don't have to call them up and say, hey, I'm breaking up with you today. If it's somebody just in your circle that you want to walk away from, silently walk away. You don't owe anybody any explanations, but tighten your own circle. This is the final chapter. I can't see it. I've tried. I cannot see it any other possible way. We have been led into a trap. So are we going to stay in the chute and let them slaughter us all? I don't know. It certainly is an individual decision, right? You could be doing a lot of defensive things right now. Have you thought about getting some walkie-talkies so you can go out, set together your own little team to go out? You know, if you're really handicapped and you can't go out, well, maybe you can get a couple walkie-talkies. They're so cheap right now that you can communicate to a group of people that maybe go out and do some activities and kind of try to stop the flow. Or we can all just sit here and collectively think, hey, isn't this great? I spent this whole life here. I came here. It's a final chapter. I think I'll take a pass on doing anything. certainly that's up to you. So I'm going to be back. I hope I didn't shut that off. Wait a second. I'm going to be back because the whole thing with the Trinity test, the nuclear test, well, it's all fake, okay? Those tests never took place. And I don't want to do it right this second. So, yeah, the test never took place. So, here is, if I don't come back, here is my burning question. The tests were fake, okay? I've talked about that I didn't believe nuclear was real in the past, okay? So those photos they showed us of things blowing around and stuff were all faked, and they were faked at Lookout Mountain. But they were also spewing out a lot of radiation, right? And I've also talked in the past about those power plants are fake, and the fact that they're not transporting the wind and sun to the power plant and converting it to electricity like we've been told, right? They lie about everything, right? So they also say that so much of that power is coming from these nuclear plants. Well, I've proven that those nuclear plants are not providing us with power. So the big, huge, huge question is, what exactly are all of those nuclear plants doing? I'm circling back to that one because some people seem to think, well, they're there to disturb the weather. No, I think that's a very simple answer. Why is France importing all of that uranium out of Africa? Now, I'm sure they're importing that, just as I'm sure that India is now setting up dangerous nuclear plants of their own. But why are they setting up these plants that have no purpose? Got to be a pretty big question, right? Because if they're not setting up nuclear for power, they're not setting up for weapons because they're not using weapons, right? No such thing as nuclear weapons. I mean, they're tipping things with nuclear, okay, tipping things, but that doesn't mean that's where they're doing the depleted uranium on the tips of things to pierce armor. But they are not, in fact, doing nuclear bombs. They never did nuclear bombs. Those were incinerators. I'll get back to a lot more of that later, but so the big question has to be questioned. What's the purpose of all those nuclear plants? Where is all that uranium going? Is I have a suspicion that maybe they got that uranium production going for those nuclear plants so they'd have that uranium to fuel our smart meters. But I don't know. So I'm going to be closing this off for now. I just want to talk to you about some of the symbolism. And it looks to me like the Star of David is the Star of Evil plastered right over Israel. All I have for now. Be safe out there and goodbye for now.